All right, let's talk about the future. Right now, there are these two huge competing ideas about how we should build a better world. And believe me, these aren't just some dusty old theories. No, these are actual blueprints that are shaping everything, from politics to culture and the whole global power game. So, let's dive in and really break down what these two visions are all about and what they could mean for you and me.
So what's this all really about? It boils down to one massive question. What is the best way forward for all of us? I mean, should we focus on making sure every single person has the most freedom and the best life possible? Or is it about building up this unstoppable national power, through pure industrial muscle? The answers these two blueprints give couldn't be more different, and that's what makes this so interesting.
Okay, so in one corner, you've got this idea called expansionist market equitism. It's a Western approach, and it's all about rational thinking and, believe it or not, game theory. And in the other corner, the Industrial Party. This is a school of thought coming out of China that's laser-focused on national power through technology and industry, period. We're going to look at both, but let's start with that first one, the rationalist vision. So, expansionist market equitism. What's wild about this one is that it doesn't start with politics or money. Nope, it starts with a thought experiment. It's like a big bet, a gambit really, based on nothing but pure cold logic. The goal? To see if we can engineer the fairest society imaginable, right from scratch.
And here's where it gets really cool. It all kicks off with this idea from the philosopher John Rawls called the veil of ignorance. Picture this. You get to design the perfect society. The only catch, you have no idea who you're going to be in it. You could be rich, you could be poor, super talented, or not so much. So what kind of world would you build in? The whole point is you'd probably create the fairest system you could think of, right? You'd build in a really strong safety net, just in case you end up getting the short end of the stick.
Okay, so that leads us to the big problem that market equitism is trying to crack. It's called the market paradox, and it goes like this. Markets are, without a doubt, the best wealth-creating machines we've ever invented. But they also have this nasty habit of creating huge inequality if you just let them run wild. So the thinking here is, how can we get all the good stuff from the market without letting its side effects completely tear society apart?
And the solution they came up with is pretty slick. They call it a holy trinity of policies that all work together. Step 1, you tax the bad stuff. Things like pollution. That makes things more efficient and brings in money. Step 2, you tax the value of land. This is clever because it brings in revenue without discouraging people from working or building things. And finally, step 3, you take all that money and give it back to everyone as a universal basic income. It's this really elegant system designed to get the best of both worlds, efficiency and fairness. All right, so that economic plan sounds pretty neat, right? Almost simple. But, and this is a huge but, what good are all these perfect policies if our political system is so broken it can't even get them passed? And that brings us to the next big hurdle, something this framework calls the democracy technology problem. Basically, the argument is that the tools we use for democracy are just old. They're out of date. Think about it. Our voting systems often just make everyone more divided. Social media has totally fractured our ability to agree on basic facts. And our big institutions, they're just not built to handle 21st century curveballs like AI, climate change, or pandemics. They're struggling to keep up.
So what's the fix? Well, one proposed solution is pretty radical. It's called election by jury. Here's the idea. Instead of a normal election, you randomly select a group of citizens, kind of like a jury that actually represents the whole population. You give them time, you let them hear from all the top experts on an issue, and then you let them really think it through, deliberate, and make a decision. It's trying to get the best of both worlds, the democratic spirit of representation with the smart, informed decision-making you'd want from experts.
Okay, so that's one blueprint. Now let's completely switch gears and look at the other one, the Industrial Party. We're moving away from that Western rationalist idea and heading over to a Chinese school of thought that has a very different vision for the future.
And this quote right here from a writer named Wang Xiaodong, who's a big deal in this movement, it just says it all. Let the Americans sing and dance for us while we smelt our iron. Wow. I mean, that really captures the whole mindset, doesn't it? It's a philosophy that basically looks at Western culture, sees it as frivolous, and says, no thanks, we'll stick to building real, hard, tangible industrial power. And that's really the heart of it. Their core belief is super simple and direct. The only thing that really truly matters is a nation's ability to build stuff. We're talking advanced factories, huge scientific breakthroughs, massive infrastructure projects. To them, that is the one and only source of national strength. It's the only real, legitimate basis for having power in the world.
So Wang Xiaodong sees the world as this big struggle between two teams. On one side, you have the industrial party. These are the engineers, the scientists, the people focused on what you can measure and touch in the physical world. And they see themselves fighting against what they call the sentimental party. That's their term for intellectuals, artists, the media, basically anyone they think gets bogged down in pointless arguments about feelings and morality instead of focusing on what actually makes a nation strong.
So, where do they think their trump card is? What's their big decisive advantage? It's one thing: people. But not just any people. They're talking about the absolutely massive and still growing number of high-quality engineers, scientists, and technical workers in China. They see this incredible pool of talent as their secret weapon, something no one else can compete with. And for them, that's the thing that's ultimately going to decide who's on top.
And this is a direct challenge to the West, because they're basically proposing a whole new set of universal values. They're saying, hey, maybe democracy isn't the only one. They argue that science and industrialization are the real universal values, because those are the things that actually pull people out of poverty and build the modern world. And their goal isn't just to make China stronger, it's to spread this industrial way of life to the rest of the planet. So there you have it. Two really powerful but totally different blueprints for our future. One is all about the well-being of the individual using these super rational systems. The other is all about the power of the group, of the nation, achieved through total industrial dominance. Let's put them side by side one last time. Expansionist market equitism, its goal is to let every individual flourish, using smart, efficient markets and a more deliberative kind of democracy. The Industrial Party, its goal is national power, plain and simple, driven by the state pushing for more and more industrialization. It really is a pretty stark choice, isn't it? It comes down to what you value more, individual freedom or collective strength.
And so that leaves us with one last, really big question. A question that honestly is at the very heart of this whole global competition. When we're talking about progress, when we're trying to build a better future, what's the ultimate measuring stick? How do we know if we've succeeded? Is it about the happiness, the well-being, the freedom of every single person? Or is it about the total collective power and technological might of the nation as a whole? That's the question we have to grapple with.